I am curious to know, were there any questions in your interview regarding your hobby? What suggestion would you give to the people who are preparing for this exam, that shall they go for the preparation of phase 1 and then phase 2, like one phase at a time, or you'd suggest them to go for a integrated preparation? Hello guys, welcome to EduTap. Today I have with me Miss Shobhita, a new RBI Grade B officer. Welcome, Miss Shobhita.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me here.
We are really happy to have you today, and I would like to thank you for coming here all across from Delhi.
It's a pleasure, ma'am. It's a true pleasure.
So guys, Miss Shobhita has been selected as RBI Grade B officer in the year 2022 as you watch this video, and we'll know her strategy about the preparation. We'll try to know what different things she followed for phase 1, phase 2 interview, and of course we'll also like to know about her. I'm sure you are eager to know her as a person also. So Shobhita, थोड़ा सा we'll start from your introduction. आप please अपने बारे में खुद ही बताओ कुछ.
Okay. So, hello everybody, I'm Shobhita and I'm a production industrial engineer, and I did my engineering from Delhi Technological University in 2019, and this was my third attempt at RBI, and luckily I could clear it this time, and I would like to give due credit, a great amount of credit to the EduTap team for providing us with such quality content that we could make it through, and providing us really, and I mean it in a very good way, that they provided us a hand-holding support. So that's it from my side.
We are really grateful to you for such humble words. Actually, Shobhita, as we were discussing earlier also, that students like you make us feel motivated, that yes, we are also in the right direction. जैसे आपको चाहिए होता motivation, that are you in the right direction. So Shobhita, this is a huge success. You mentioned that this is your third attempt.
Yes.
You passed out in 2019, right,
yes,
from Delhi College of Engineering.
Yes, ma'am.
And from then you were preparing for RBI.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So obviously the journey has not been easy.
No.
Of course, right, 3 attempts. But whom would you like to give credit to all of this success? We know, of course, it is the hard work, right?
No, but more than hard work, I would say the blessings and the support that I got from my family, my friends, the well-wishers, and everybody, the teachers, everybody. Like, the success is not for one person. It's a team effort. So I am very thankful to my family, my parents, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, friends, aunts, so teachers. So it has been very good experience with them.
Lovely, lovely to hear that. Yeah. So of course, as you mentioned, you have thanked everyone, right? Yeah. Your family, friends. So what do you think? How important is the support of family in such a competitive examination?
Ma'am, it is very much important, and I would like to mention that most probably not everybody gets it. So I find myself to be very lucky as a girl that I had that support, and there were times that those were my lows. So they didn't let me get into that phase. They used to cheer me up and give me support, and they had more confidence in me than I had in myself. Right. So that was very important, and I had very good friends also who kept me motivated throughout my journey. So I would like to thank them also, their families as well. So that's it.
So of course, support is very important, guys. We all know, and friends, family, these people play a very important role in the success of any person. And of course, I understand that today we have you with us, but the backbone is family, actually.
Right, absolutely.
They are there for each and everything, and even they can be friends. Some people rely completely on friends. So, jo bhi ho, you should be thankful.
I was lucky to have them both.
Lovely. ठीक है. तो शोभिता, अभी हम बात करते हैं थोड़ा सा about the preparation, right?
Yes.
You said that as we have discussed, 2019 में you passed out, and in the same year you gave the attempt, the very first attempt.
Yeah, it was just 1.5 months after passing out.
So I think, this is quite a courageous step. Not everyone decides to take the exam right after the college. People usually think, let me take at least a year. Let me try to give some other examinations. So what was your framework of, thought? कि क्या सोच के दिया था?
Ma'am, I got to know about RBI all at once. Like, I started reading newspaper in college, and at that time RBI was very much in news. Like Raghuram Rajan sir, he was very famous, and demonetization happened. Bi-monthly policies they got introduced. Arijit Singh sir was there, so I was very curious, and most of the things now I could not understand. So I was curious to know, okay, what is all this that is happening? And there were some seniors who guided us, like there is this opportunity like called the RBI Grade B officer's post, and the work-life balance and the culture and the kind of work that you do is very significant. So that motivated me and inspired me, and then I checked about this opportunity on Google, and that motivated me.
So during your college preparation, somewhere like near the third or fourth year, you made your mind that you are going to appear in this examination.
Yes. I asked my father also, and he guided me ki yes, you should go for it.
So 2019 May, we have discussed this earlier that you could not clear the preliminary, right? Yeah. So would you tell us that what were the reasons for that, so that people who are watching this video and are in college planning to take this exam, unke liye wo kaam aayega?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, in 2019, what happened? Actually, the pattern has also changed now. So, there used to be questions that were very factual, and they need good revision. Like I'm talking about the general awareness section. So, I thought I lagged somewhere in that, because I think if I could have scored better in GA, I could have cleared the cutoff. So, that would be my advice for 2019 attempt. What I learned from that attempt, and when I was preparing for the other attempt, I was very serious about current affairs and general awareness, and I thought I would manage quant and reasoning and English, and I have to keep revising those things, and I have to prepare for mains. So, but what happened in 2021, that the quant section was very tough, and I could clear the overall cutoff, but I could not clear the sectional cutoff for quant. So from there on, I learned this lesson ki you have to give due importance to each and every section. You should not take anything for granted, however strong you think you are in that section. And also, ma'am, what happened in 2021, it was a surprise that the paper level difficulty got so I think more than the questions, I got defeated through my own mind also. I got a little nervous in the exam center. So one must realize that this exam is not bigger than you. It's just an enemy, and make syllabus and the previous year questions be your very good friend, and then you're good to go. You're bigger than this exam. So
such a lovely advice, I would say. See, when this is coming from a person who has been there, right, who has failed in the same process and then has become now successful in the same process, learning through their mistakes, this is the most important aspect. And I think the points she has mentioned, you should note them down. As an aspirant, when you are preparing, pehle GA mein galti ki, फिर you worked on GA but quant. So paper you cannot always control, right? How will the paper be? आप नहीं देख सकते हो. But of course, as you rightly said, कि if you have your best friends, your syllabus and previous year questions, तो हो जाएगा manage. बहुत अच्छा आपने क्या बोला, that exam is not bigger than you, right?
Because that emotional quotient, that is very important when we go into the examination hall, because this time also when I was attempting the paper, and the quant this time also was like the level was good. So 11 minutes were remaining, and I had attempted I think 1-2 questions only, and I was screening through, and I was telling my mind ki okay, you can do this, you just have to see ki what are the questions that are solvable, you just have to find out. So I was just switching over the questions, and I finally found a data set that I could do. So those 6 questions I did, and they were right.
So basically ऐसा होता है ना, that when you are in that examination hall, you don't know क्या होने वाला है आगे, right? तो ऐसा नहीं है that people might think कि toppers को पता होगा कि मेरा तो बहुत अच्छा पेपर गया है ना? ऐसा नहीं होता. उसके बाद ही जब result आता है, you clear step by step.
After giving exam, I was sure कि like the difficulty was like on a higher side, so I'll be able to clear the sectional cutoff. So I told my brother, he was there with me, he took me to the examination center, and I told him कि भाई let's see कि what will be the overall cutoff, but I'm a little hopeful this time. So that was my journey.
Right. So I think these were very important lessons for you guys also, that when you are preparing, you should keep in mind. और अगर गलतियाँ हो भी जाती हैं तो उससे सीखना है, and then you have to move forward. तो इसमें शोभिता, आप मुझे ये बताओ that you have prepared for, जैसे बताया आपने, from 2019 फिर 2021 में. So what has been your source of preparation in this time period? कि ऐसा कुछ होता है ना कि हाँ ये चीज़ मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा help की.
So I had different sources for different subjects, ma'am. For economics and social issues, I referred to Runal sir's videos, and I was in college when I started preparing for because I had a different background, so I started reading NCRTs and Ramesh Singh. If somebody has like less time, they can avoid reading Ramesh Singh and everything. EduTap also has a good material, you can refer to that because it's simpler. I didn't know of EduTap back then. And for finance and management, I completely relied on EduTap. And for current affairs, I followed generally Affairs Cloud. And I used to follow your sessions. So in the EduTap session for current affairs, I used to watch your sessions and Gurkirat sirs and there are 2 other ma'ams also.
Kritika, Diksha, right?
Yes. So heartful thanks to you.
ठीक है. So like these were your sources. Note the sources down. ठीक है. Okay. So I would like to know the next thing is about different phases of this examination. So you have now the experience of taking this examination 3 times, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what suggestion would you give to the people who are preparing for this exam, that shall they go for the preparation of phase 1 and then phase 2, like one phase at a time, or you'd suggest them to go for a integrated preparation?
An integrated approach would always be advisable, ma'am, because the gap between the 2 phases, it's very less. So if you have already covered the syllabus of mains, it becomes very easy to just go and revise. And you also have to, like, you have this burnout after the phase 1. So 1-2 days you need for getting that freshness back again. So it's always advisable to have an integrated approach. And please do give due importance to phase 1 also. Due attention and practice. It takes practice, it takes revision. So that would be my
So when phase 2 preparation is being done, especially before phase 1, right? When someone has not cleared phase 1 or even phase 1 is abhi dur, theek hai? So at that point of time, what should people do? Like, you know, they should, because now descriptive pattern is there. So we usually get these queries. A lot of students ask, shall I start writing descriptive answers or shall I just read now and then later on I can do the descriptive practice? So what do you think on those lines?
Ma'am, I think it depends upon 2 factors. One is the time that person has in hand. Because if they have ample amount of time, so there is no harm in practicing. Practice makes a man perfect. And if the time is less, they can just go for reading at before phase 1 and between the days we get between phase 1 and phase 2, they can practice descriptive writing. And if somebody thinks that they are very bad at descriptive writing, like they don't know how to frame answers and they struggle with typing, so they should at least practice a little bit beforehand. And also, ma'am, the phase 1, phase 2 approach that you were talking about, now the pattern has changed. For example, the questions they are asking in phase 1, they are also of those nature that used to be asked in phase 2.
Right.
So an integrated approach is always advisable.
Right. Yes. So integrated approach will obviously, you will be a step ahead. Right. If you are only preparing for phase 1, you will always have that fear in mind. Okay, what about phase 2 and all. So talking about this integrated approach, one thing that comes into picture is current affairs.
Right.
Important for phase 1 as well as phase 2. So how did you prepare current affairs, keeping both the phases in mind?
I used to refer to 2 sources, as I told, Affairs Cloud and EduTap's monthly magazine. Affairs Cloud, they updated daily, so I used to go through, when the exam used to be nearby, I used to go through them daily, on the daily basis. And when EduTap's compilation would come, I would revise through EduTap's material also. And I used to give quiz and I used to watch your marathon sessions. Like the more the revision, the better is the GA. I would always suggest to keep your sources limited, but keep revising those sources. So that would be the key.
And how many months of current affairs do you think that those shall be done for like either phase 1 or phase 2?
For phase 1, 6 months are enough, like they're more than enough. But for phase 2, I would suggest it's better to do as much as you can do. Like whenever you're starting, when you're thinking to give the exam, start preparing for those things because it helps you in framing your answers in the descriptive portion as well. It gives you better understanding. So as much as one can.
That is actually a very wise answer. But I have a question here again.
Yes.
Related to this only. I am getting these questions because we get these queries a lot, right?
Yes.
And students want to know from a person who has been through the process, right? So इसमें ना query आता that if let's say I start reading today, आज से मैं current affairs करना start कर दूँ, but 4 months, 5 months down the line, मेरे लिए वो बहुत heavy हो जाएगा. कि मैं क्या करूँ, याद रखूँ से, हाउ डू आई रिवाइज, बिकॉज इफ लेट्स से आई हैव 9 months or 10 months फॉर द एग्जामिनेशन, तो 6 months स्टिल आई कैन मैनेज, लेकिन 9 months 10 months मुश्किल है टू remember all that.
Right. Actually, ma'am, the kind of current affairs I was talking about now, it was like the newspaper that we read. Because I forgot to mention, but I'm very, very disciplined about the reading newspapers. So that kind of information that you get through newspapers, that is descriptive in nature. That is not only factual. So you are able to retain that information better in your mind. At least I was able to. So that kind of information is the one that you can start doing ever since you start thinking of preparing. And obviously the factual things, they are very difficult to remember and they keep on changing, so it also confuses one person. So for that, the economics and social issues, current affairs regarding the schemes and the social issues and the news related to RBI, one can remember that, because all these things are actually important, the notifications and everything. So but the factual news, we have that the only GA section.
Only GA, the first part of the magazine.
Yeah, the first
Sports,
part of
defense.
Yes. These things are there so trivial in nature. So they are to be done only 3-4 months before the exam.
ठीक है, तो I think that solves a lot of questions that you have in mind. We have asked many things that we could related to current affairs. So all questions very, very, I would say, satisfactorily answered.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask some things related to your preparation, actually your preparation journey.
Yes.
So there are times when you feel, when a person who is preparing for such a rigorous competitive examination, they feel low at times. Doubt आता है ना, self doubt what we call, anxiety भी आती है थोड़ी. So what did you do? अगर ऐसा कोई time पहले आया ऐसा कोई time, I want to know.
Yes, surely there were like many instances when it used to be the case. And ma'am, in those times now, the most important thing is, like, obviously I had the support of my family and friends. Additionally, one must know the purpose. Like, if you are true to your purpose, like why you are doing this, and if you are true to yourself, that you are satisfied with whatever you are doing, then it keeps you going. Like, you have this faith ki, okay, at least I'm moving in the right direction on my part, so things will eventually fall into place. So that.
So important is keep moving. There are highs and lows, and you just should do things that make you good, make you feel good, and then just keep
if there's some hobbies, like I had, like I really like reading, so you can have good reading, and then if you like to play, because sports, they help a lot in rejuvenating the mind, so any hobby you can follow.
So you mentioned that reading was your hobby. तो इसमें I am curious to know, ऐसा, were there any questions in your interview regarding your hobby?
Yes, there were many, because I didn't have any work experience. So they asked me, like, the interview was all profile based, and related to hobby, they asked me ki you like reading, Shobhita, what do you like? The chairman sir asked me first ki, and he said it like ki you must have read many books, and will you like to share with us one good book that you read about? And I told him about the book, and he was smiling all the time, like he was interested to know ki what was there in the book. And then some other panel member also asked me ki you like reading poetry, so can you tell who is your favorite poet? So I told him, sir, so and so, and he then asked me ki he's from which country, and luckily I knew. And then he said ki like there were many questions. He asked me ki can you just quote some lines by that poet, like whichever is your favorite poem. And this got in sync that this was my favorite poem, and the panel member knew of this poem. So when I was reciting the poem, he also joined me, and we were doing it together. So it was a good experience, a very enriching experience to have it there. And
quite interesting that would have been.
and towards the end of my interview, I was asked again about the book. Like ma'am asked me ki beech mein some panel member asked me ki what kind of books you read, and something of that sort. So ma'am asked me ki can you quote a quote by this person, and I told her so, and that was the last question of the interview. And I came out and it happened well.
तो इंटरव्यू में काफी क्वेश्चंस वर रिलेटेड टू लाइक as you mentioned profile based.
Mostly it was profile based. They asked me at max 3-4 technical questions, and rest everything was profile based. And they one very interesting and different question that I'm able to recollect at present, they also asked me, and it may help the future experience. They asked me about the building, the RBI building. They said the chairman sir asked me towards the end of the interview, when you were entering this building, you must have seen 2 statues. So, you must have seen something. He asked like that. I said, yes sir, there were 2 statues. He asked, do you know what are they called? So I knew, he said the yakshas I told. So he said one is, there are 2. So the other one, I said one is yaksha and the other is yakshini. And he also asked me the relevance, the significance that they hold. So these kind of questions, they can, these things, they show interest of a person in the organization. So these things, they, when one is preparing for interview and if they have time, so it is better to search about the organization as much as possible.
So that is quite helpful. I am curious to know, did you know the answer to the question of yaksha?
Yeah. When I was in college, out of curiosity, once I just Googled just to see how, and I Google things a lot. I Google almost everything. So I Googled about RBI Delhi office, and on the Wikipedia page itself, it was there. So I read it back then,
and the question was asked in interview. See how things can actually fall into place. That you, when thinking about RBI, you found something.
Yeah. So, I used to be very fascinated about this organization. Like, I really liked it.
So I can take away from this excerpts of the interview that you have told that preparing about your own self, like your profile, your hobbies, for example, whatever things you have in mind about yourself, you mention in biodata, that you have to prepare. Second is about RBI itself.
Yes.
So for that, RBI's website, you would suggest to follow.
RBI's website.
ठीक है. And anything else you'd like to suggest that ये भी prepare करना चाहिए before going for the interview?
Whatever you're mentioning in the detailed application form, each and every keyword of it must be prepared. For example, I mentioned in my detailed application form that I was the organizer for this conference, the recent advances in mechanical engineering. So the first question was about, the first question was this only, that you were the organizer of this and this conference. So can you tell us the recent advances in mechanical engineering? And the chairman sir asked me to talk about this topic for 3 minutes. So, and here I would like to add one thing. It is better if you can, if you get to know who is the chairperson and who are the panel members. It's better to watch their videos because they're very famous people who take our interviews. So it's good to know how the way they speak. It makes you familiar with that. So I had seen his videos, and in that he used to mention Industry 4.0 and like some keywords I tried to extract from there. So those things can be done. So
that is very insightful actually for the people, because what happens is for phase 1, people still have the resources fixed, that YouTube sessions hai, magazines hai, practices hai, even for phase 2. But for interview, there are a lot of doubts. क्या करना चाहिए, कैसे करना चाहिए. So I think this is really gonna helpful to you guys, right? So I think we have spoken about your interview preparation and even the preparation of phase 1, and we even spoke about the descriptive part as we mentioned. But still phase 2 is largely untouched yet. तो थोड़ा सा discuss कर लेते हैं वो भी.
Yes, ma'am.
How, like, did you start the preparation for phase 2? जब phase 1 से भी पहले first and then फिर after phase 1.
So, ma'am, for phase 2, first I would like to tell my sources that for finance and management, I completely relied on your material, EduTap's material, and I kept on revising those summary sheets that you guys give. So that was very helpful, and that was the only source that I followed. And for descriptive answers also, I referred to EduTap's material. And for economics and social issues, I also gave NABARD's attempt. So there was this channel Clarity for Sure. So they also came up for NABARD. The videos were used to be there for descriptive writing. I followed those videos as well, and I followed your channel. And descriptive, that's it. You provided some model question answers.
Yes.
So what I used to do, I used to take the printouts, and I would just highlight some things, add some keywords, concise it. in that draft itself. So that was very helpful. And practice because I also gave SEBI mains, but I didn't know of descriptive writing back then. So when the paper started, I was so much overwhelmed by the noise that was going around in the room. Like everybody was typing and I was like framing the answer in my mind, so I could not complete the descriptive paper there. So practice. If you're not good at typing, please do not take it for granted. Do practice, and that's it.
So practice is actually going to help, right?
Yes,
because
ma'am. Yes,
as you said, in the exam environment, it becomes difficult when people are typing. There's noise.
Yes. Then I bought a keyboard, like for when I appeared in the bar mains. Before that, I bought a keyboard. I practiced there, and initially it used to take so much time in framing only one answer. But with time, with practice, everything comes. Then everything settles. So.
If you do like regular consistent practices anyhow required.
Yeah.
So we have discussed many things about your phase 1, phase 2 preparation, even interview preparation. But there are some things which are, I would say, the byproducts of this preparation, that I was a person like that back then. Today I have changed, or this is the thing I have learned. So aisa kuch you'd like to share with us?
Yes, ma'am. Back then, ever since childhood, I was good at academics. So I didn't know of failure. Whatever I wanted, I could get. So when I could not clear RBI, it was very difficult to accept at first. But I learned to learn from my mistakes, and I analyzed what I did wrong, and I worked upon that. And I just accepted that failure and success, they are the two sides of the same coin. So one must not just go after one and completely ignore the one. So learning from your mistakes is one of the things that can keep you going, and that's it.
That is, again, I would say, a very humble answer and very honest answer, that it is not easy. There are people who are not easily able to accept this failure. And that causes a lot of problems. Like in successful hona hai to fir, as you said, it is, a part of the same coin.
Yeah, don't quit, never quit. So that's it.
तो अच्छा, मुझे ये भी जानना है आपसे, that what do you think made you clear this examination? Learn तो किया mistake से, but this is what was in me. ऐसा आता ना कि शायद इसलिए I could clear this exam.
Ma'am, in me, so I would say कि whatever happens now, there are many factors that are driving it. So I would like to reframe it that it was my family, the friends, the support that I got, the guidance that I got, the material, and I have this habit that I never quit. If I decided yes, I will do this, so I try to do it anyhow. So that thing kept me going. So I think that thing helped, and I do a lot of self-talk also. So I keep myself motivated. So that also helped.
So I think that was a very, very insightful interview. The success story is going to motivate a lot of students, right?
Thank you.
So what would you like to say to the future aspirants now?
Ma'am, I would just like to reiterate my earlier words that know your enemy well. If you think of exam as your enemy, so make syllabus and previous year questions your best friends. They will guide you through. Have good guidance. Don't go after so many materials and so many sources. Just keep revising what you study. And on the day of exam, on the D-Day, maintain good emotional quotient, and always remember that you are bigger than this exam. And if you really want to do it, if you're true to your purpose, if you're true to yourself, you will be able to do it somehow, and things will eventually fall into place. And I would like to wish everybody all the very best for their bright futures ahead, and that's it.
Thank you so much for coming here again.
Thank you for having me here, ma'am.
And I would like to thank you from the entire EduTap family, from all the students out there. I really hope that you have found a lot of things that are going to motivate you in this examination, in this journey of yours. Do let us know your comments. How did you like the interview? क्या सबसे अच्छा लगा आपको? हमें mention करके ज़रूर बताइएगा. And we'll meet very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.